If we talk about ESG, in my opinion, it is applicable to each and every business, irrespective of the size as such. It is more applicable and it will be more beneficial to a big organization. That's because they are in a position to roll out very easily.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, the podcast brought to you by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I am Tanay All, and today we are joined by a true visionary in the world of corporate finance and strategic leadership. With over 25 years of experience, Mr. Sandesh N Shringarpure has made an indelible mark in the finance sector, driving growth and innovation across multiple industries. From steering business finance functions to implementing global ERP systems, he's been at the forefront of financial transformation, helping companies optimize their operations and improve cash flow. Currently serving as the Chief Strategy and Finance Officer at Sailotech, Sir has played a pivotal role in shaping corporate strategy, treasury management, and regulatory compliance, all while overseeing the launch of cutting edge projects like ZATAX and iCapture. Sir, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's an honor to have you on the podcast, and we're really looking forward to an insightful conversation.
Thank you, Tanay, for a very warm introduction. And it's an honor and pleasure to be on this FaceTime with leaders.
Sir, before we dive into the big milestones and achievements, we would want to take a step back. Like, I always find it fascinating how people's careers often start in places we don't expect. So, looking at your incredible journey from finance and strategy to corporate leadership, I'd love to hear what first sparked your passion for the world of business and finance. Like, was there a moment early on that shaped your direction, or did your path evolve in a way you never imagined?
It's a very interesting thing, and there is a wonderful first question to have it, I will say. There are two things which I believe. First thing is the exposure what you get initially in your career in the industry with other people. So the business exposure and the exposure to the right set of people. I'm very lucky to have both the things going in my favor as such. I'm being a chartered accountant. I started early with setting up an accounting process for university companies of a leading venture fund in India. And that's where I get exposed to a different perspective of business. Chartered accountants are, we go with the principles, rules very often. And conservatism is one of the principles what we been taught years after year. And that's where that was the era of a dot-com boom and bust to say. And that's where the entire perspective of mind looking towards business has changed. The multiplier impact, the revenue multiplier, the exposure what it gets with the technology, because that was the period where India got technology available and affordable. Both the things are very equally important. And those all technological breakthroughs has come during that period. And that was the one business exposure which has changed my orientation towards looking at the business per se, rather than only debit and credit. Something more is also there, other dimension. And when I moved to Brinks, and then I come across with a very phenomenal personality, Mr. Michael Mascarenhas. He was ex-managing director of Air India, and he was heading Brinks operation as CEO and president. And that's where it was a eye-opener for me that beyond books, beyond theory, what is practical? How you can have a lasting impression on the stakeholders? How you can manage them very well? Why every negotiations for any small rate revision is so important? What is the impact of it? How to motivate team? How to do cross-functional projects in such a way that everybody is happy and everybody should get the fulfillment after the end of the project, because all those projects are tightly coupled with the time and the cost. And that's where I decided probably yes, I would like to be someone who will have a position to make decisions which will last and leave the impact, which will contribute something to the organization and the larger society as well. And fine, that's where then I decided I would like to be a C-suite. Um, and I'm doing it for the last so many years then.
Lovely, sir. How you take up challenges in your journey also sometimes defines a lot about where you go and what you learn, right? Sir, in your remarkable role as both CFO and Chief Strategy Officer at Sailotech Private Limited, you're balancing two crucial functions: strategic decision making and financial oversight. So I imagine these two roles must sometimes present a delicate balancing act, especially when it comes to driving growth while managing financial health. So how do you manage this dual responsibility?
Right. Now, this is really a tricky question because there's always an overlapping area. When a finance guy plays this role, he has to wear the hat of a controllership, compliance when it is required, one of the major function of a CFO. Then the other thing is he is also responsible for the stakeholder management and seeing how the growth is achieved, the sustainability is there. And once its a strategy is more of a forward-looking, futuristic. It takes cognizance of the past, present. However, the entire efforts are where we want to be, what we want to achieve, how are we going to do it from long-term perspective. Then over and above that, which market, which region, what we to do. And when it comes to the CFO, and within that accounting, it's more of profitability, cash burn. We need to make positive numbers, right? And I'm lucky to have 25 years of experience acting a bridge between CEO's office and CFO's office to a great extent, where I have to play a role of a business support. And business support does not come only supporting the business; it comes with ownership, a responsibility where you own compliance because any miss in the compliance may lead to a huge cost burn at a later point of time. So it is a balancing act, and I would like to quote very interesting thing, as you mentioned about exact tax at the beginning of the product, right? Sailotech was the first company to demonstrate the then vision of the government to have a line-by-line reconciliation of it at invoice level. So we built a product because we had a very strong ERP background in the Infer and Oracle practice. So we had our product ready, fully loaded product with all those complexities. And then what happened is the government has diluted certain requirements. So that fully loaded product becomes you're launching an electronic car in 1972. Well, system is not ready. What are you going to do about it? So then the question started lingering in everybody's mind, including mine. Should we exit or should we be cautiously optimistic? What should we do? And see, it's the first product of the company. You can understand every product for every company is an emotional attachment. And particularly for me, it was more because I was coming out of an MNC environment to Silotech, which is just a growing company, and product I contributed a lot. So it was a difficult call for me to take. Then we decided a very nice thing. We strategized that we will only do a limited ERPs as our market. We will do only B2B, will not do anything on B2C segment as such. Will be present in the market. So in any time in future, if you want to expand, you can expand. That's the one thing. Second thing is testing water was very, very important, which we did. And out of this, what happened is last 7 to 8 years, our product has been deployed with B2B segment. We catering to the industries like airport cargo, jewelry, steel, defense, pharma, like that. And back to back, this thing, what good thing happened is other offerings, automation, everything, be able to pursue that with the customers. So
Yeah,
it is the
that
balancing act, right? You have to be futuristic, you have to be cautious. And for a bootstrap company like Sailotech, it was a very crucial decision.
yeah, and that's the way forward, right? To keep both hand in hand, compliance and social issues on the other hand, make profits. If we just concentrate on one, that's not the long-term vision, like you said. Sir, throughout your career, you've been instrumental in re engineering and streamlining financial business processes at major organizations like Diebold Systems and Drinks. So, with your wealth of experience, what are some of the most commonly overlooked business processes that companies fail to optimize, and how can they address these gaps to drive greater efficiency and profitability?
Right. So wherever company, whichever company I'd work, I was always got an opportunity to look at the business processes end to end. That is very important because no function was a limitation. I was always a part of the cross-functional teams and the project, and that really helped me a lot. Now, one important thing, everybody talks about source to procure, order to cash, many accounting processes as such. What matters the most, in my opinion, is a deal review process. But deal review process is a very classic process, and a few companies do follow, particularly if you go to multinational project-based companies, right? They do have essentially do that. So at Brinks or Diebold, we used to do that thing very extensively. The important thing is that the deal review, when you are going for any big bid or anything, you collate a cross-functional team. The brainstorming happens there. And then you get new ideas, you get the references from the past. Then everybody gets a transparent picture of, okay, this is what we are committed to the customer. This may be our time factor, this may be our cost factor. And now, if you get into it, if you won the order, what we need to execute. The other aspects is team is getting collaborated before you won the order. So there is a sense of attachment once order is won. Right, that's okay. I had played a part there. Now I have to play a better part because I have to execute. I have to deliver. And this process, many a times, while having conversation within the industry, within the colleagues or the customers when I face, many a times still not that prominent with the few industries and few Indian companies to say as such. I think that is one area companies should follow. And that is the benchmark because you can monitor very easily, you can do the course correction very easily.
True. Very well said, sir. And that is the first thing that companies should take into account, especially in the growing era of compliances and checks. So, with your extensive experience in centralizing accounting functions and realigning finance teams, you've likely faced moments where the economic landscape shifts unexpectedly. So, in today's world where uncertainty seems to be the only constant, what key steps do you take to ensure that financial organizations remain not just afloat but resilient in the face of sudden market changes?
Now, this question will not be get answered straightly, Tanay, as such, because when we talk about a centralized accounting, when we talk about the accounting framework to set, many a times when we do that thing, we do take cognizance of the past, present, and the future. So it has the flexibility and the scalability in your processes and your system when you build that thing. So any minor change, any shift in economic condition can definitely taken care of with the scalability. That is one. Second thing is when it comes to a sudden less downturn, like if you have that subprime crisis, right? To that situation or the COVID crisis. See, all these things, what happens is your fundamental accounting principles, practices won't change. Your business ethics won't change at that moment. So when it comes to the transaction monitoring and everything, it is goes as is every day is a common day. What it demands on you is how are you going to cater your cash pile? How are you going to manage your treasury? How are you going to be the profitable? And that is where you have to give a deep thought, and it's a situational thing. Every situation will be unique because I come across, I've seen subprime crisis, right? I've seen now COVID also. And COVID was definitely an eye opener for me. And it was a very testing period also because it was a young organization. When you work for a very big organization with treasury being managed by someone else, and you know what is going to be there, that is still easy. So subprime was relatively easy because I was working in US MNC. COVID was definitely a very difficult task, and that's where what we have done. See, one important thing is in such also situation, if you have the foundation right, if you have a team which is committed to the purpose, if you have a team which believes in your future outlook, then whatever comes, all these things, team will be with you. And people, process, technology. Now, technology you cannot change. It's an external. Processes you already are having. The people is the factor, right? People is the factor. Take care of them, they will be with you, and you will come across with any situation.
Yeah, very well said, sir. And especially in situations of crisis, if foundations are laid solid, you can get through anything, right? And then
That's
foundation
true.
becomes more important.
That's true, Tanay.
Yeah. So looking ahead, how do you see your role evolving in the next few years? Like, what are your personal and professional aspirations, especially when it comes to taking on boardroom responsibilities or playing a larger role in shaping the direction of organizations?
Right. Now, there are, I think, around 3 to 4 parts probably I would like to answer this particular ask. See, first thing is we have recently launched I-Capture. Now, I-Capture is the Sailotech product for accounts payable automation, right? Again, a very close process to my heart as such, because I see there are a lot of things which we can do in accounts payable automation globally. So the first primary objective is a recently launched product. So we'll have certain targets for 2025. So that is one thing. And we have a vision for this product till 2028, what we want to. So establishing that is my business responsibility, which I have to cater to, which is there. Second thing is now we are getting into UK and EU as a region. So far, we are predominantly doing US and India. With this risk mitigation approach for any political or geographical calamity or whatever we can say, we need to stabilize that. So that's the new region for me. I've extensively worked in US environment and the APAC environment. I deal with those guys. But EU probably is the first thing which I'm going to do. So that is a new learning for me too. Second thing, coming to the professional aspirations, as we speak, uh, I'm I like to have the conversation. I would like to have exchange of thoughts. So I'm open for any observer role for any new startup. I'm open to have an independent director role to help someone to get ahead in the business curve. As I was certified independent director, and recently I've completed something on specialization further in the startup directorship. So that is a new initiative which is there in the market, and that's where I think I will look into it. And of course, society matters a lot. So I'm voluntarily associated with two organizations, Global Finance Professional and MSDO, my MSME Development and Support Organization. These two organizations are evolving a concept and idea to support MSME sector. Most of the guys are from MNC background. Now they are seniors, and they feel now India MSME sector needs some kind of support from the process perspective, thought process perspective, and I'm hopeful that I will be able to contribute to society also
Yeah,
in the right
that's a,
fashion.
that's a lovely thought, sir, and a great plan ahead. Sir, you've had extensive experience in corporate governance and financial compliance across multiple regions and industries. How do you think ESG principles play into your daily operations, especially while managing treasury functions, compliance audits, and large scale financial projects?
Now, if we talk about ESG, in my opinion, it is applicable to each and every business, irrespective of the size as such. It is more applicable and it will be more beneficial to a big organization. That's because they are in a position to roll out very easily. If I just take a step back and if I talk about is what we are doing, for example, if we talk about what is the business purpose, what we are having from the ESG 5Ps, if we talk about it, then Sailotech is doing it to I capture accounts per automation. Why are we doing it? Automation, anyone can do it. Our objective is what? Now, there is a gap which has got created in skill accounting staff at the bottom of the pyramid because in last decade or so, the preferences of use have changed. So you don't get manpower many a time, which is skilled enough. And if you don't have a skilled manpower, then one error leads to 10 times one. So that is the gap what we want to fill at the Silotech in eye capture. So that's the business purpose we are attaching there. Now, when we come to, if we talk about the climate as such or the planet as such, I would have very little to say because I so far worked with green industries as such. Nonetheless, it is equally important that it has to be continuously monitored. So electricity is a very small example. Any company will think my bill is XYZ, but if you talk about a data center, they consume a lot. If you talk about an electronic vehicle, there are thoughts which are going in the market, right? Is it really environment friendly? Because you have not seen the electronic waste of that magnitude, right? So that is there. And we talk about the other thing in the ESG space, which comes to my mind is the profitability, right? Business has to be profitable. But with that profitability, the other principle comes is you have to be principle oriented. You need to follow your principle. There has to be a business ethics. You need to adhere to all the local laws as such. So this everything goes hand in hand for me, and it's a good principle. There is you should follow it. There is no reason why people should not adhere to.
Yeah, and it is the way forward, like we've been discussing, and it is absolutely imperative that we take strict guidelines. Otherwise, for profit, we can have businesses sort of doing anything, right? If there is no check on it.
So that's it. Then the best thing is what you know. All these practices, principles were always there with the good companies in the market.
True,
They
true.
never cut the corners. So what is happening is we are getting it out of that best practices. We are creating a product which is there as such. Now we are giving that opportunity to others to follow the suit.
Yeah,
It's up to them.
true, true. So, you've recently joined Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. Could you share your experience so far and how the courses and community have contributed to your professional growth?
Like so, I was a little bit reluctant because what needs to be done, right? Because I was just contemplating either I want to be in that directorship role or no. And that's where I come across with the WTC. And what I like the most is the structured syllabus, what you're having, the platform. You can do your course as per your convenience. That is one excellent thing. On top of it, the knowledge sharing sessions, what WTC conducts very often, uh, it gives you the information which otherwise will take a longer time for you to reach for it, Google it, get it, not required. So it is readily available. You can just access it. I have one ask though on WTC, which is uh, they should conduct more physical interactions, right? Those networking sessions in metros like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, because that's where then we can create a very strong, bounded community.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm perfectly happy.
Thank you so much for those kind words, sir, and for that suggestion, because that brings us to the end of today's conversation on FaceTime with Leaders. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your incredible insights and experiences with us. For our audience, I hope today's discussion has sparked some new ideas about continuous learning, strategic thinking, and embracing the right partnerships to elevate your leadership and decision making. If you're looking to further your growth, don't forget to check out Directors Institute, a place where great minds meet to push boundaries and redefine leadership. So, thank you so much to you, sir, once again, and for our audience for tuning in. We'll be back soon with another episode filled with more powerful stories from leaders who are making a difference. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and passion and have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.